Let me share with you something that could radically change your life. And it's simpler than you think. We all want to thrive, not just survive. But what if I told you that your potential to be unstoppable already lives within your biology, and it's just waiting to be activated through the power of daily habits? Today, I'm giving you 7 life-changing habits backed by science, deeply practical, and profoundly transformational. These are the habits that unlock resilience, clarity, confidence, and the ability to keep moving forward no matter what. Let's take a moment to think about the concept of momentum, not as a metaphor, but as something biological, something real. We often think of momentum as a psychological or motivational term, but in reality, it's deeply rooted in your physiology. When we talk about becoming unstoppable, we're not just speaking in abstract terms. We're talking about your biology, your cells, your brain, your immune system, all working in a state of optimal function. And that state isn't something you have to wish for or chase externally. It's something you can create every single day by building habits that align with the way your body is designed to thrive. The truth is, our bodies are always listening. Every bite you take, every step you walk, every thought you allow to take root, these are signals, they're instructions to your biology. They either tell your body to protect, prepare, grow, or they trigger stress, inflammation, and dysfunction. That's why habits, the small, repeatable actions we take daily, are so powerful. They are not just behaviors, they are instructions to your internal operating system. Take nutrition, for instance. Most people eat to feel full or to satisfy a craving, but when you really look at food through the lens of science, you begin to see it as a form of molecular medicine. Your food doesn't just fill your stomach. It feeds your microbiome, fuels your mitochondria, activates your immune system, and even influences your gene expression. Yes, food talks to your DNA. When you choose foods like cruciferous vegetables, berries, omega-3 rich fish, and fermented foods, you are literally dialing up your health defenses, angiogenesis, regeneration, DNA protection, and anti-inflammation. These aren't vague promises. These are biological systems with measurable outcomes. And this doesn't stop at nutrition. Movement, even something as simple as walking, has profound effects on the body's biology. When you move your body daily, you're not just burning calories, you're stimulating endorphins, reducing insulin resistance, lowering your risk of chronic disease, and even improving your cognitive function. Movement triggers angiogenesis, the formation of new blood vessels, which helps your body deliver oxygen and nutrients more efficiently. That's not just momentum, that's biological momentum. What's remarkable is how these daily habits start to compound. When you eat with intention, move consistently, sleep deeply, and cultivate emotional resilience, you're not just adding years to your life, you're adding vitality to those years. This compounding effect is how you build an unstoppable life. You don't do it with one grand act of willpower. You do it with repeated alignment, aligning your habits with the systems already built into your biology. Sleep, for example, is not downtime. It is deeply active. It's when your brain clears out metabolic waste, when your cells repair DNA damage, when your immune system resets. People who prioritize quality sleep aren't being indulgent. They're being strategic. They're allowing their biology to do the work it's designed to do. And when this kind of recovery becomes a habit, your resilience increases. You bounce back faster, think clearer, perform better. Let's not overlook the role of mindset. The way you speak to yourself, the narrative you tell yourself each day, that too is part of your biology. Thoughts are not invisible. They are chemical. Negative self-talk, constant stress, and emotional isolation all increase cortisol levels and suppress immune function. But gratitude, optimism, and self-compassion, those aren't just nice ideas. They are scientifically validated strategies to reduce inflammation, enhance immunity, and improve brain health. This is why your inner dialogue is one of the most powerful habits you can cultivate. When you start stacking these habits, feeding your cells with nutrient-rich food, activating your physiology with purposeful movement, honoring your body with sleep, and training your mind for clarity, something extraordinary happens. Your systems begin to synchronize. You move from surviving to thriving. You're no longer reacting to life. You're creating momentum from within. And that is the key idea. Momentum isn't something you wait for. It's something you generate. When you build habits that are biologically intelligent, you prime your body to become adaptive, focused, and energetic. You make yourself resistant to fatigue, less vulnerable to burnout, and more capable of handling stress. That's what it means to be unstoppable. It's not just grit or willpower, it's cellular, hormonal, neurological, it's science in action. So when we talk about becoming unstoppable, we're not talking about becoming superhuman. We're talking about becoming fully human in the way we were biologically meant to function. These daily habits are the gateway. They are small in appearance, but massive in impact. And when practiced consistently, they unlock the momentum that carries you forward, not just for a day, but for a lifetime. When we look at high performers, those who seem to have boundless energy, clarity of thought, and resilience in the face of challenges, it's tempting to assume they possess something rare. But what separates those individuals isn't intensity, it's consistency. Intensity may create a spark, but it's consistency that sustains the flame. And when we align our consistent behaviors with what science tells us about how the human body and brain thrive, we create a system of personal power that becomes difficult to derail. The truth is, your biology doesn't need grand gestures. It doesn't need extremes. What it needs is rhythm, predictability, repetition. It responds best to small, repeated inputs, the kind of behaviors that happen daily, almost without thought. Think of this as training your biology to expect and deliver results. When you nourish yourself in small but intentional ways each day, the body begins to respond automatically. It begins to trust you. And in that trust, performance grows. For example, let's talk about something as simple as hydration. Drinking a glass of water upon waking might seem insignificant, but it sets off a cascade of physiological events: improved circulation, better cognitive alertness, enhanced detoxification. These small habits cue the body's systems to start operating efficiently. Now imagine adding that habit to a morning where you've also prioritized movement, even if it's just 10 minutes of stretching. You begin the day by telling your body, I am here, I am in control, let's move forward. That signal, repeated every day, rewires not just your biology, but your identity. This is where the science of consistency becomes so fascinating. Your brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, is responsible for planning, focus, and self-regulation. And every time you repeat a habit, you're strengthening the neural pathways that support that action. This is neuroplasticity in motion. The more frequently a habit is practiced, the more efficient the brain becomes at executing. Over time, this transforms effort into ease. What once felt like a struggle: choosing healthy food, turning off your phone before bed, walking instead of scrolling, becomes automatic. And there's a biological reward for that consistency. When you repeatedly choose activities that lower inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, and regulate cortisol, you start to notice less fatigue. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your skin improves. Your thoughts clear. You're not just maintaining health, you're building it, reinforcing it, layering it over time. One of the most misunderstood aspects of health is that people expect big results from big actions. So they start with intensity, a restrictive diet, an extreme fitness regimen, a complete digital detox. But these efforts are rarely sustainable because they don't integrate with your biology's natural rhythms. They ask too much too fast, and the body pushes back. What's more effective, and what we know from research, is that small, consistent changes allow the body to adapt gradually, steadily, and with resilience. This is where lasting transformation happens, not in bursts of willpower, but in the accumulation of steady, repeated actions. Even something like breathing, intentional, mindful breathing, practice for just 2 minutes a day, can regulate your autonomic nervous system, shift you out of stress mode, and enhance cardiovascular function. That's not theoretical. That's measurable. And that's the power of daily, consistent practice. Now, let's apply this to how you eat. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight, but adding one serving of dark leafy greens per day, replacing one processed snack with a handful of almonds or blueberries, choosing tea instead of soda. These micro decisions made consistently begin to shift your biology. You're supporting your gut health, feeding your microbiome, and calming systemic inflammation, all of which, over time, increase your body's resistance to disease and mental fatigue. What's profound here is that consistency creates momentum, and momentum reduces friction. When you do something every day, the decision fatigue fades, you stop negotiating with yourself. And this frees up cognitive energy for creativity, problem solving, and emotional regulation. The consistent habit becomes the platform on which your best self can stand. This is why we must stop chasing intensity and start mastering consistency, because intensity is emotional. It flares up, then fades. But consistency is biological. It teaches your body and mind what to expect. And once you establish that internal rhythm, your system begins to optimize itself. And here's the best part. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about showing up for yourself, even imperfectly, and reinforcing the message that your well-being matters. You don't have to be perfect every day. You just have to keep showing up. Every small repeated act of care sends the same message to your cells, your hormones, your immune system. I am creating stability. I am building strength. So remember, becoming unstoppable doesn't come from bursts of intensity. It comes from choosing again and again to align your daily actions with the science of health and vitality. It's in the quiet, repeated decisions where real power is found. And once those consistent actions become who you are, not just what you do, there is very little that can stop you. There is a powerful truth that most people overlook. You are not stuck. Even if it feels that way, even if the circumstances of your life appear rigid, even if your energy is depleted, your thoughts scattered, your body unmotivated, you are not broken. You are simply unactivated. What does that mean from a biological perspective? It means your potential hasn't disappeared. It's dormant, like a seed in dry soil, waiting for the right conditions. And what creates those conditions isn't some dramatic life event. It's not waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. It's not a sudden wave of clarity. It's the habits you choose to engage in every single day. Small acts, repeated choices. This is what activates the systems in your body designed to help you grow, heal, and evolve. You already contain everything you need to become strong, sharp, and resilient. Your body is equipped with mechanisms for regeneration, for adaptation, for transformation. But these systems aren't on autopilot. They respond to your behavior. They respond to signals, and the habits you create become the signals your biology listens to most closely. For instance, inside your cells, there are genetic switches, epigenetic markers that determine whether certain genes are turned on or off. These switches respond to lifestyle, to stress, to nutrition, to sleep. You are not a fixed code. You are an ongoing expression of how you live. If you feel stuck, it's not because you lack potential. It's because your daily habits are sending the wrong signals or no signals at all to the systems that need activation. Now, here's the beauty of this process. Change doesn't need to be massive to be meaningful. Drinking one more glass of water per day activates hydration pathways that influence digestion, energy, and brain function. Taking a brisk walk for 15 minutes a day increases the expression of genes that support cardiovascular health. Practicing mindfulness or slow breathing lowers inflammation markers in the blood. These aren't theories, they're measurable biological outcomes. This is the science of being activated. And when you begin to experience these effects, even in small doses, something shifts inside you. That sense of being stuck starts to loosen. The fog lifts. The body begins to respond with more energy. The mind becomes clearer, and your sense of capability grows. You start to realize this change is not only possible, it was always available. It was simply waiting for your participation. Think about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experience. You are not born with a fixed mind. Your brain is constantly reshaping itself in response to how you think, what you learn, how you move, how you sleep, even how you love. When you feed your brain with new learning, when you challenge yourself, when you engage socially or creatively, your brain builds new neural connections. This is not just metaphor. This is structural change. Your biology is always looking for cues to adapt and grow. The same applies to your immune system. You don't need to be superhuman to improve your immunity. You just need to engage the habits that support immune activation. Nutrients like vitamin C from citrus fruits, sulforaphane from broccoli sprouts, polyphenols from green tea. These are molecular keys that unlock immune function. Getting sunlight in the morning resets your circadian rhythm, which directly affects immune balance. Laughing, connecting, expressing gratitude. These are not soft ideas. They are immune interventions. So the idea that you're stuck is really an illusion. What you're actually experiencing is stagnation, a lack of activating input. But the moment you begin to change the input, your biology begins to change the output. And that shift is incredibly empowering. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You don't need a total life overhaul. You just need to begin with one habit that sends the message to your biology. I am choosing to participate. That one signal, when repeated, starts to wake up dormant systems. Energy returns, mental clarity sharpens, emotional resilience begins to build. And here's something even more remarkable. Your biology wants you to succeed. Your systems are built for adaptation. Your cells are designed to regenerate. Your brain thrives on new information. Your heart responds to rhythm. Your gut microbiome shifts with every meal. You don't need to fight for health and growth. You need to cooperate with it. You need to align your actions with the way your body is designed to function. This is why the concept of being unstoppable is not about pushing harder. It's about aligning smarter. It's about understanding that everything you need to thrive is already inside you, but activation is your responsibility. The tools are available, the biology is capable, and the transformation is real. You are not stuck. You are waiting to be activated. And the switch lives in your habits, not in some distant ideal, not in the approval of others, not in a perfect set of circumstances. It's in what you choose today, right now. One action, one signal, repeated until momentum takes over. And once you start, something shifts that cannot be reversed because the activated version of you begins to replace the dormant one. You become clear. You become resilient. You become quite literally unstoppable.